Hi everyone, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are working into the back chain of the legs, a lot of focus on the hamstrings, trying to alleviate any tension that you're feeling on that back chain, whether that tension is related to you sitting a lot during the day or whether you've been active sports-wise. Hopefully we'll open up that chain for you. We're going to kick off right off the bat with a couple of rounds of moon salutation. If you're new to yoga and you've never done this sequence before, don't stress about it. We're just going to take a couple of poses, clip them together, get a little bit of flow going. The focus here is not so much on nailing down each pose. It's more about getting heat energy going in the body and just opening up the body dynamically. Then we'll start stretching in earnest, holding a little bit longer, working a little bit deeper. As always, I'd like you to play where you're comfortable and use the modification if you need to. You ready to play? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class, standing at the top edge of your mat and setting up your little flow for moon salutation. Standing in a comfortable stance, so a loose samasthiti with your feet stacking in parallel underneath your hips. Tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button in, and float your hands together with the palms looking up towards the ceiling. This will be your start and end position for each round. Take a big breath in and take your focus in. Float both of your hands into your lower back and take a supported back bend. Exhale and fold forward, giving me a big bend in the knees, and then roll back up to rinse and repeat, bringing your hands into your lower back. Exhale and sigh as you come down. One more time. This time, as you fold forward, take a big step back with your left leg. Turn both of your feet towards me, knife edging your back foot, and float your right arm overhead and behind you as you come into a modified side plank, starting to open up through the legs. Pivot away from me, side squat lunge as you dangle the arms down towards the floor. If the hips are very tight, you can keep it about waist height, otherwise drop closer to the floor. Give me a lunge line on the left leg and step your way back into a plank. Drop your knees to the mat and try to extend the arms in front, thinking of connecting your chin and your chest to the floor, parking your bum up to the ceiling so you look like a cat, taking a stretch. Drag it forward onto your belly. Set up a soft cobra line, either hands connected to the mat, just staying here, or give me a little wiggle and release into the shoulders, getting rid of all that tension from the whole week. Tuck your toes under, float your bum up to the ceiling, give me a soft down dog frame, and then take the movement into your knees and your hips by bending and moving as if you were a dog wagging its tail. Still your down dog, and kick up the left leg first on this side into a three-legged dog. Give me a changeover, kick up the right leg behind you. Step through, trying to stack underneath your hips. Softly roll it up, both hands come into your lower back. Bring it back to your start position, palms looking up to the ceiling. Let's start moving for flow. Big breath in, give me a back bend. Exhale and sigh as you come down. Come back to your little back bend. Exhale as you fold forward. One more time. This time as you come down, give me a big step back with your right leg. Turn your feet towards me. Set up your side plank and then get a little flow going. Taking your left hand behind you and in front. Pivot, face away from me and side squat lunge. Opening up, trying to drop your bum a little bit closer to the floor each time you come to this one so that you can feel that opening happening through the legs. Give me a lunge line on the right leg and step back into a plank. Connect the knees to the mat. Find your extended cat shape, thinking chin and chest to the mat and bum beautifully parked up to the ceiling. Drag it forward onto your belly. Set up a soft cobra line. Wiggle and release into the shoulders to play. Tuck your toes under, float your bum up, set a soft down dog frame, give me movement through the knees and the hips. Still your down dog. Think of kicking up the right leg behind you, squaring up your hips and your shoulders to the mat. Change up, kick up the left leg behind you. Swing through, trying to step underneath the hips as you step forward. Softly roll it up, bring both hands into your lower back, take the back bend, come back to your start position. Big breath in, give me a back bend. Exhale as you fold forward, chest and knees, palms up. Rinse and repeat. One more time. Step back with your left leg. Turn your feet towards me, set up your side plank, and get a little flow going. Soma Chandrasana 1 and 2. This little movement represents the waxing and the waning of the moon. Pivot, face away from me, side squat lunge, Sahaya Ardha Malasana, spontaneous half squat. Give me a lunge line on the left leg and step it back into a plank, Kumbhakasana. Connect your knees, chin and chest to the mat as you come to a beautiful little Anahatasana, opening up your chest center. Drag it forward onto your belly, set up a cobra, and then play in spontaneous cobra, Sahaya Bhujangasana. Tuck your toes under, find your way to a soft down dog, and then move through the knees and the hips in blissful dog, Svananda. Still your dog, and kick up the left leg first into Tripada Adho Mukha Svanasana, three-legged dog. Do a little changeover, kick up the right leg. Swing through, find your stack underneath the hips, and softly roll it up in Chandra Uttanasana. Give me a little back bend, beautiful standing Anahatasana, and then float your hands to your start position, palms up. Last round, big breath in, give me a back bend. Exhale and sigh as you bring it down. Give me 2 more rounds, alternating between the back bend and the really soft forward fold. Step back with your right leg and turn your feet towards me. Find your side plank, get your flow going. Pivot, face away from me, and open up through the groin in your side squat lunge, dangling those arms down like a little piece of seaweed. Give me a lunge line on the right leg and step it back into a plank. Connect your knees, chin and chest. Give me a beautiful little stretch on the mat. Drag it forward. Set up your way into a cobra. Pause or shrug and play into the shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Find your way into a soft down dog friend. And then give me movement through the knees and the hips. Still your dog. Kick up the right leg first on this side. Brace into that heel. Feel the opening along the back chain of the left leg. Change it up. Kick up the left leg. Feel the stretch on the right leg. Step through. Roll it up. Hands come into your lower back. Float back to your start position and take a second or two here just to regroup. We're going to start working a little bit deeper, opening up the back chain of the legs progressively. Start by softly dropping the arms at your sides and find your stack. Check that your feet are still stacking underneath your hips, tailbone tucked under, belly button pulled in. Run your palms down the top of your thighs as you gently fold forward from the waist. Either stopping in a tabletop line with your hands gently pressing on your thighs, or keep the hands running down and see if you can connect the palms to the mat. You're going to bend and extend through the back chain of the legs. If you find connecting to the floor really difficult, maybe reach for a block. Use the block in any dimension and give me a gentle lean in as you bend and extend through the back chain of the legs. Play where you're comfortable. Then try to hold your forward fold, pushing with both hands into the mat if you can, extending through the back chain of the legs and trying to keep your weight distribution equal between the balls and the heels of your feet. Soften through the knees, come up onto your fingertips and heel toe out till your feet are just mat width distance apart. Extend through the back chain of the legs, either keeping your hands connected to the floor or float the arms behind you. Think aeroplane arms, palms looking in. If you can, give me a soft interlace, just giving me a zip lock and pulling the hands apart. Give me a little bit of rotation through the shoulders, trying to float the two shoulders blades together and dropping the crown of your head closer towards the floor. See if you can really use that crown to weight your torso down into the mat, increasing that stretch along the back chain of your legs. Gently uncouple and place your hands on the floor. Step back into the down dog frame on the mat. Hands more or less shoulder width apart, feet hip width distance apart. Push into your down dog, hands and feet working simultaneously. Then bring the left arm off the mat and see if you can reach for the outer quadrant of the right leg, just giving a little tug. If you can't reach the outer quadrant, maybe just touch hand to leg. Coming into a three-legged dog variation. Float back to the mat and repeat on side 2, trying to reach with the right hand for the outside of the left leg. Try and push into the whole foot on both legs. Float back to your down dog frame and give me a three-legged dog on the left. Soften the left knee and kick up the left leg behind you. Try not to pop and rotate through the hips at this stage. Keep your hips nice and flush to the floor and keep bracing to the heels on both legs. Try to keep your weight distribution equal on your 3 points of contact on the mat. Then bend the left knee, point the toes softly up towards the ceiling. Open up the knee to the left as you drop the foot to the right, arching your back slightly and peeking over your right shoulder as you come into an arching dog, holding that frame. Make sure that you zip it up on your inner thigh and your lower abs on the right to protect your lower back. Give me 5 more breaths here, then we'll do a small step through into a little pyramid shape. Swing that left leg through, trying to stack underneath your left hip, and then step up the back leg slightly and straighten up both legs. Little pyramid shape between both legs, trying to connect your palms to the floor if you can, or just hanging softly from the waist, or using your block and leaning into the block. So play where you're comfortable. Try to open up as much as you can through the back chain of the legs. Then soften through the knees, and as you step up, swing the right leg over the left leg and come into a soft little forward fold, trying to connect the hands to the mat if you can, using your block if you need to, or just hanging from the waist. Try and get as much extension through the back chain of the legs as is possible. Come back into a soft parallel stance with the hips stacking underneath or rather the knees stacking underneath your hips, and try to invert the hands and tuck them underneath your feet, keeping the legs extended if you can, or giving me a soft bend in the knees if you need to. Gently rock the weight back and forth between the balls and the heels of your feet as you find Padahastasana, Gorilla. You'll feel a beautiful opening through the back of the legs, and also a nice little stretch into the arms and a little activation of those reflexology points on the forefront of your foot and the palm of your hand. Bring the hands out from underneath the feet, bend softly through the knees and ragdoll roll up one vertebra at a time, coming into a long, beautiful line through the spine as you find a modified Tadasana, sitting up nice and tall and dropping the hands and weighting them down towards the floor. Make sure you've tucked your tailbone under, belly button softly pulled in. We're going to repeat that sequence on side 2. Start with the arms softly on the top of your thighs. Take a big breath in, and on a soft exhale, start folding forward and run your palms down the top of your thighs. Ending in a soft tabletop line, or keep coming down, trying to connect your hands to the mat. If the back chain of the feels a little bit warmer, you could maybe invert your hands and even try creeping your hands closer to your leg line, maybe coming past your ankle line if you can, and getting more drop through the crown of your head. The legs are really tight, bend and extend through the knees till your legs feel sufficiently warm to be able to hold that extended line and get as much stretch as you can. Play with the weight placement in your feet. Maybe gently rock into the balls and then back into the heels. And then try to find a midway point between the two so that you can feel you're really working into that stretch. See if you can give me 5 more breaths here. Then we'll open up the leg stance slightly. Connect your fingertips to the mat and heel toe out till your feet are just inside of mat width distance apart. Stay here, hands connected, or float the hands behind your back, palms looking in. If you have the range of motion, interlace the hands, zip lock them in. Think of squeezing the 2 shoulder blades together and dropping down through the crown of your head. As you do that, think of that weight distribution even on the balls and the heels, and get as much stretch along the back chain of the legs as you need to. If you need to, bend and extend if the legs are feeling really tight. As always, you're here to identify with your unique tension spots and then working into them as best you can, finding a way that works best for you. Release the interlace behind your back, connect the hands to the mat, and step your legs back into a down dog frame. Push into the hands and the feet simultaneously, working the front and the back chain of the body. Then disconnect the right hand from the mat and reach for the outside of the left leg, holding a modified 3-legged dog. Stretch into those legs, really come down through the heels as you connect to the mat. Come back to your down dog frame and repeat on the other side, reaching the left hand for the outside of your right leg. Push down through the whole foot on both legs. Find your way back to your down dog frame and let's play a 3-legged dog on the right. Bend the right knee and kick up the right leg behind you, bracing into that heel, trying to keep your shoulders and hips squared at first. Send energy out through the heels of both legs. Let's arch the dog on the right. Bend the right knee, point the toe up to the ceiling, open up the knee to the right as you drop the foot to the left, arching slightly through the back and peeking over the left shoulder as if you were trying to catch a glance at that foot. Keep pulling up from the pelvic floor towards your waistline to protect your lower back. 5 more breaths here, then you're going to find your way into a soft pyramid line on the legs. Give me a soft step through, trying to stack underneath your hips. Step up the back leg slightly, and then once you've found your position, straighten up the legs, trying to connect your palms to the mat, or hanging from the waist, or leaning into a block. If you can easily connect, try and walk those hands a little bit closer, dropping the crown of your head as close to the floor as is comfortable for you. Think almost of trying to get your nose to connect to your shin as you fold forward. Readjust your leg line and find the stretch, find where that tightness is and try to open up. Bring it gently onto your fingertips, and as you swing the back leg in, swing it over the right leg, crossing left over right to connect your hands to the mat or hang from the waist or use your block. At the same time that you're working the back chain of the legs, you're also inverting the head quite a bit, so giving yourself a beautiful face, wrinkle-free face for the weekend. No Botox required. Come back into a soft parallel line on the feet and see if you can tuck your hands, palms up underneath the feet as you gently rock your weight back and forth between the balls and the heels of your feet. Come to stillness somewhere between the two. Pause here for at least 4 breaths before you gently ease the hands out, soften through the knees, and ragdoll roll up really slowly through the spine. Maybe softly interlace the hands behind your back and give me a gentle back bend, almost thinking of trying to bring your interlaced hands and tucking them underneath your bottom. Come back to a soft standing frame and then hinge forward at the waist, trying to tuck your head between the two arms as you find a tabletop line on the mat. Gently connect your hands to the mat, step your right leg back and give me a soft pyramid line on the mat. Both feet are looking to the front of the mat and you've got a little triangular shape between the two legs. Try to connect your palms to the mat if you can and weight the crown of your head as close to that lead leg as you can. Thinking nose to knee as you come forward. Walk your hands back as much as you need to find the stretch that's working for you today. Try to keep the knees on both legs extended. You can give me a soft bend if those legs are really tight, or just bring your position up higher on the mat, working with a block if you need to. Then creep your hands slightly forward. Lift the weight up off the back leg and kick up the back leg behind you. Then creep your hands closer to your lead leg, trying to come in line with your ankle bone or even past the ankle line. Find what works for you. Weighting the crown of your head to the floor. Stay or play. To play, bend your floating back leg and reach opposite hand to leg. So reach with the left hand for the right foot. Think of hugging that foot into your bum and weighting the right knee down to the floor. Hold the stretch for a couple of breaths if you can. Then find your way back to a parallel line and hang down. Interlacing the hands behind your back and getting a nice little stretch here. Weight that crown of the head down. Feel that opening through the back chain of the legs. Keep your hands interlaced, soften through the knees and ragdoll roll up, keeping that interlaced and coming to a long standing line, trying to tuck your interlaced hands behind your bottom. Giving me a gentle back bend. Don't pop the hips and the ribs out. So keep zippering up on your inner thighs and pull up strongly from the pelvic floor so that you're protecting your lower back by bracing your core. Drop the arms softly at your sides and give me a step back with the left leg. Find the pyramid shape. Softly float the hands in front as you find a tabletop line through your body. When you're ready, fold forward, trying to connect the hands to the mat as best you can. Push into both hands and drop the crown of your head down to the floor. Find the hand position on the mat that's working for you, creeping the hands back and trying to drop your nose and your crown as close to that lead leg as is comfortable for you today. Remember that the body is different day to day. Sometimes it wants to play and sometimes it holds on to tension. You're here to connect and work within the range of motion that is possible for you today. Now creep your hands slightly forward, bring the weight off the back leg and see if you can kick the back leg up behind you. Then creep your hands closer to your lead leg and try to weight the crown of your head as far down to the floor as you come to a gentle standing split. Stay or play. To play, keep your left hand on the floor. Bend your floating back leg and reach opposite hand to leg, trying to grab hold of that left foot with your right hand. Tuck the heel in towards your bum and weight the left knee down to the floor as you make your crown really heavy. Stay. See if you can hold it for 5 breaths. Let go of that foot and find a parallel leg line on the mat. Soften through the knees if you need to, and then extend when you're ready. Float the hands behind you, trying to interlace the hands behind your back. Squeeze the two shoulder blades together and drop the crown of your head as close to the floor as you can. Work that stretch. Hold for me. Soften through the knees. Uninterlace your hands and drop your hands to the mat. Find your way to a kneeling frame on the mat, more or less in the middle of the mat, with enough room to extend your legs to the front of the mat. Peel up, and then see if you can bend the left leg and step it up to the front of your mat. Tuck the back toe under on your right leg, lean forward and connect your hands to the mat. Then wiggle your left foot forward and try to extend the whole leg, peeling the toes up off the mat. Think of the stack on your back leg. Try to stack your back hip over your knee and just lean forward as if you were trying to bring your chin over your toes. If you have the balance, think of softly zippering up on both inner thighs and pulling up strongly from the pelvic floor so that your core is engaged. See if you can find your sense of balance. Maybe you can bring the fingers off the mat and hold onto that lead toe. As you pull the toes closer towards your body line, you're going to feel that stretch along the back chain of the legs intensify. If connecting to the foot is not an option, just keep both hands connected to the mat and play where you're comfortable. Give me 5 more breaths here, then we'll take it into a modified side lunge. Drop both hands to the mat and connect the front foot to the mat. Bring the back knee up off the mat. Pivot towards me, bringing the left hand to the inside of your left foot. Drop the back leg to about 90 and bring your front foot in. Either stay here in a modified side lunge, bending your left leg and extending the right with both fingers connected to the mat, or drop down lower through the groin and see if you can disconnect the right toes off the mat. If you can find your seat here, float your hands up off the mat and bring them to prayer in front of your heart center, trying to drop down through your bum bones. Feel that stretch along your extended leg. Hold your modified side lunge for 5 more breaths. Then we'll come back into that little hamstring stretch, but we'll change it up slightly. Rotate towards the front of your mat, tuck your back toe under, relax the back knee to the floor. This time, as you walk your weight back and disconnect the front toes from the mat, stop just before your bum meets your heel on the back leg. Fingertips connected to the mat, trying to bring your chin over the toes, or using your inner thighs and your core connection to reach for that foot and hug the foot in closer to your body line. Drop the crown of your head softly down to the floor and maybe look towards your navel if you can. Hold here. Give me at least another 5 breaths here. Find your way to a kneeling frame on the mat. Relax the bridges of your feet. We're going to rinse and repeat on side 2. Extend the right leg out in front, finding a little soft connect, bending the knee. Connect your hands to the mat, tuck the toes under. When you're ready, wiggle the leg forward. See if you can bring those toes up off the mat and give me an extended line on the right. Knee and hips softly aligned on the back. Think nose to knee as you fold forward. If you can, bring the hands up off the mat, reach for the undercarriage of your foot and gently hug it in towards your body line. Use your inner thighs and your lower abs to hold that frame. Softly reconnect your hands to the mat, bringing the right hand to the inside of the right leg. Reconnect your front foot to the mat, bend the knee, extend your back leg, rotating away from me and finding a side lunge. Find a lunge line that works for you. If you can, bring those left toes up off the mat and float your hands to a soft prayer position. Soft pressure between the two palms and the elbows, tracking wide. Hold. Drop your bum bones as low to the floor as you can, or keep a modified position, playing where you're comfortable. Find the stretch that's working for you. We're going to find our way back into that hamstring stretch. Pivot to face the front of the mat. Relaxing the back knee to the mat, but keeping your toes tucked under. Walk your weight back, extending through the right leg, almost thinking of not quite sitting on that back heel, getting a beautiful stretch into the arch of that back foot. Think nose to knee as you fold forward. If you're comfortable here, see if those hands will come up off the mat and reach for the undercarriage of your right foot. Softly floating those elbows out to the side of the room. Uncouple, bend the lead leg, and think of feeding the back leg through as you sit back onto your bottom. Right leg extended, left knee bent with the sole of the left foot on the inside of the right leg. We're going to take a big breath in, floating your hands overhead, and on the exhale, think nose to knee as you grab for the outside of your foot, trying to tuck your head as close to the lead knee as you can. If connecting to the leg is not possible, reach for your block, a strap, or a hand towel. Feed it around the outside of your foot. Equal play on both sides of the strap. Float your elbows out to the side of the room. Folding forward where you're comfortable and holding that stretch. Give me at least 10 breaths here, focusing on trying to relax your lower back and really getting a nice stretch into the back chain of the right leg. We're going to find our way into a modified heron line from here, Crouchasana. Gently peel up along the midline of the body. Bend the right knee, connecting the sole of the foot to the mat, and tuck the left heel in as close to the perineum as you can. Bring the right toes up off the mat and reach with your hands for the undercarriage of your right foot. Tip the weight back just off your bum bones and see if you can bring the leg into extension, holding onto the back chain. Otherwise, hold onto the back of your thigh and just hug the thigh into your chest. Playing where you're comfortable. Take a peek behind you and check that you've got enough mat behind you to roll down onto the mat. If you see that it's not sufficient, creep your weight slightly forward so that you've got room to play. Now, try and keep your grip on the right leg as you bring the sole of the left foot to the mat. Changing your heron line and keep hugging that right leg into your chest. Now let go of the foot and give me a slow one-legged roll down, trying to connect one vertebra at a time to the mat. Keep your left leg bent, sole of the foot on the floor, and reach for the back chain of your right leg, maybe around the thigh or higher up around the ankle. Bend and extend, opening up that stretch progressively, playing where you're comfortable, and then trying to hold that extended leg line. Either holding as close to the ankle line as you can, or holding up higher along the back chain of the legs. If keeping the leg extended is not for you, just give me a soft bend and hug the thigh into your chest. Let's see if we can morph into a supine hand to big toe. Take your right hand, middle index finger and thumb, and give me a little toe lock around the right foot. Trying to extend that leg as you gently tug down. If holding onto the toe is not an option, reach for your strap. Gently feed it around the right foot and hold onto the strap with your right hand as you T-shape the left hand, palm down into the mat. Play where you're comfortable. See if you can extend your left leg and brace into that heel. Keep tugging softly down on the right toe and bend your elbows softly. Let go of the toe, float both of your hands up to the ceiling, brace into both heels, and see if you can roll back up to your start position. Grabbing for the undercarriage of your right leg, try and maybe stack one palm over the other and hug that calf and that thigh into your chest. Keep the back line soft at this stage, or you can give me a longer line depending on how stiff the back chain of your leg is feeling. Shake it out. We're going to rinse and repeat on the left. Keep your left leg extended. Bend the right leg, placing the sole of the foot on the inside of your left leg. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, fold forward, thinking nose to knee. Use your strap if you need to, or just place your hands softly on the floor. Find the stretch that works for you. Give me 3 more breaths here, then we'll find our way into heron. Gently peel up along the midline of the body. Bend the left leg, place the sole of the foot on the mat. Take your right heel, tuck it in as close to the perineum as you can. Reach for the undercarriage of your left leg and tip your body weight back in the boat. Once you've found your weight just off the tailbone, try and extend the leg, hugging it in as close to the chest as you can, or bending the leg and hugging the knee and the top of your thigh into your chest. Now modify your heron. See if you can connect the sole of your right foot to the floor and hug that leg in closer to your chest. Check that you've got enough room to play behind you. Let go of the undercarriage of your foot and roll down one vertebra at a time as you connect to the mat. Try and reach for the outside of your right leg, holding onto the thigh or maybe higher up along the chain. Bend and extend, bend and extend, just progressively opening up that back chain of your leg. And then hold that extended line, trying to hug the leg in as close to your chest as is possible. Stay or extend the right leg along the mat. Reach for your big toe on the right, using the strap if you need to, as you bring the left arm softly into T. Keep the left elbow soft and gently pulling the leg closer to your thigh. Open up that tight little knot behind the knee, working into the hamstring and the calf. Let go of the right leg, float both of your hands up to the ceiling, and see if you can give me a one-legged roller. Reach for the undercarriage of your right leg and try to hug into your thigh. You can keep that right knee bent and connect the sole of the foot to the mat if you need to. So just play where you're comfortable. Then gently relax the legs to the floor. Give me a little shake out and pivot towards me, opening up your legs into a wide-legged seated straddle. Opening up the legs as wide as you can on the mat. If you need to, you can tuck a little block underneath your bum and just tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Take a big breath in, placing your fingertips softly on the mat. See if you can creep your body weight forward as you gently hinge forward from the waist to connect your elbows to the mat. If connecting to the elbows is not possible, maybe take a block and place it underneath each elbow, using any dimension into the block, depending on how much assistance you need off the mat. If you only have one block, play where you're comfortable. Give me a nice lean in to the block wherever you are, bracing into the heels of both legs. Give me 5 more breaths here. Keep bracing into the foot on both legs so that you can feel that stretch up the back chain of the legs. Then gently creep back towards the midline of the body. Pivot to face your right foot. Creep your hands forward, trying to find your way onto the elbows. If connecting to the elbows is not an option, use your blocks again. Placing them into the mat and giving me a lean in to those blocks. Play where you're comfortable. Try to bring the chest as close to the top of your thighs as is possible. Come back towards the midline of the body, using the blocks if you need to, and find your midway point, leaning in to the elbows. Play where you're comfortable. Get a nice stretch, brace into those legs. Come back towards the midline of the body and let's repeat on the left, bringing the blocks with you if you need them, finding your lean-in position. If your legs and the groin are nicely warmed, you might be able to get those elbows to the floor without the assistance of the block. So just play where you're comfortable. Bring it gently back towards the midline of the body and reach for one of your blocks. Take a big breath in, block is stacked in front of your chest. On the exhale, push the block away from your chest. Just before you reach your full extended line, arc the block up towards the ceiling and hold. Almost thinking of framing your head between the two arms as you brace strongly into the heels of both legs, hinging your weight forward. Come back towards the center line, bringing the block back to your chest. Pivot to the right, same movement. Almost thinking of brushing over the top of the thighs and coming into extension, maybe seeing if you can tuck the block over your feet. Hug the block into the back of your foot and push the block away with your foot as you think nose to knee. If that's not possible, just extend out as far as you can, trying to frame your head with your two arms. Think of your arms framing your ears. Play where you're comfortable. Bring the block up with you and repeat to the middle. Block in front of your chest. On the exhale, push the block away. Almost framing your ears and looking down towards the floor as you softly brace into the feet on both legs. Bring the block back to your chest. Find your midway point. Pivot to the left. Think of pushing the block away from your chest, almost brushing over the top of your thighs to try and tuck the block behind your foot. Hug the block in and push the block away with your foot. So getting a little bit of an oppositional stretch going, and then softly fold head to knee as you come into a modified Janusasana. Give me 5 more breaths here, then we'll come to the middle one last time. Peel back up along the center line. Block in front of your chest, big breath in. On the exhale, push the block away. Then start slowly arcing up towards the ceiling, thinking of framing your ears with your arms. Brace into those heels. Feel the back chain of your legs taking a beautiful stretch. Come back towards the midline of the body and swing your legs in, facing the front edge of your mat with the feet flush against each other, sitting up nice and tall. Block in front of your chest. Push the block away from your chest. See if you can hook around both feet. Hug the block into your feet and push the block away with your feet at the same time as you fold forward and think nose to knee. If that's not happening, just push the block away and think of framing your ears with your arms. Play where you're comfortable. Give me at least 10 breaths. So if the back chain of the legs is peeling really tight, give me an alternating bend on the legs and almost wiggle into the stretch. When the back chain of the legs feels soft enough, see if you can hold that stretch, pulling the block in and pushing away with your feet at the same time. Give me 5 more breaths here. Then we'll find our way into Siddhasana and we'll use the block to help us get there. Gently uncouple and pivot to face towards me, tucking into an easy sitting frame. You can do left leg in first, right leg stacking in front. Then take the block and try to position your bum bones on the knife edge portion of the block so that you're just sitting on the edge of the block with your knees connected to the mat. Either staying here with one foot stacking in front of the other, or take your lead leg and try to tuck it between the thigh and the calf of your opposite leg. Just find the frame that works for you. Knees are nice and comfortably relaxed into the mat, and you've got the block wedged underneath your bum. Float the back of your hands towards your knees with your palms looking up to the ceiling. We're going to end with a little bit of relaxed breath work. You're going to inhale for a count of 4 as you touch your thumb to each one of your fingers. Then exhale for a count of 10. You're going to rinse and repeat for a couple of breath cycles, closing your eyes and take your focus in. Inhale for a count of 4 as you touch the fingers. Exhale audibly through the mouth for a count of 10. Inhale for a silent count of 4 as you touch the thumb to the fingers. Audible exhale for a count of 10 as you exhale. Give me a couple of more cycles here in your own time. On the exhale, melt your shoulders away from your ears and grow the crown of your head to the ceiling. Feel length through the spine. Make this your last active breath cycle. Keeping your eyes closed, float your hands to a soft prayer position in front of your heart, elbows nice and soft. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. Give me a thumbs up to like this class. Shoot me your comments in the comments box and make sure you hit that big red subscribe button. I will see you all on Monday for playtime on the mat. Have an amazing, relaxed and chilled weekend. Until we meet again, keep it light.